Hi everybody and welcome to another MuseMachine video, and today we are going to take a look at the complexity of all the settings we have in ComfyUI. Now in my previous videos I already showed you the different nodes we have there, like for example the case sampler node or other nodes where we simply skipped some default settings for the time and get some images running. However, the question is, what do these settings all do, and how can we evaluate what settings are the best? And for this, we are going to take a look again at Stable Diffusion XL. I downloaded just another model from CFG that we can use to play around a little bit and see how we can adjust different settings at the same time, get ComfyUI running for maybe like 10 minutes or so, and then see the big variety of different settings. How does it work? Well, we need, of course, ComfyUI in your local instance or in the cloud running, and we need also a certain extension. Now, there are two different extensions that you can work with in today's video, but we will just show one solution, and then it's up to you to play around a little bit and find out the best settings. So without further ado, I would say let's hop into ComfyUI, get your server started, and let's go. Okay, so let's hop into ComfyUI and let's create also a small workflow. And I just created a very basic one here. I also downloaded Epic Realism XL from CFG and also put it into my models folder. If you don't know how to do it, in the previous videos, I explain it in detail. And my prompt is also something I took from CFG because I liked it. This is a house sparrow sitting on some kind of rock in a very vintage style. And maybe this is a nice photo. Maybe you want to have also other birds, maybe for example, for some poster campaign or so. I don't know. It looks like something you could use maybe for a library or for a vintage coffee house or something like that. And it also looks kind of photorealistic. So you could also do some upscaling and use the photo immediately for some advertisement, for example, right? But we are not talking here about advertisement. We want to see if this is the maximum we can get out of the picture. And of course, there's like no, let's say, true answer. We want to see if there are other options, let's say. And first of all, we need to go to the manager and then take a look to the costume nodes manager. And I filter it here with the installed because I already installed the nodes in question. And here in our case, it's the ID 41, it's efficiency nodes ComfyUI. Last time it was updated in July this year, so this is still pretty well maintained. So let's go here, close everything. And what we want to do first, we make a double click and we need another sampler, namely the case sampler efficient. This is something the guys use. So we can simply, let's maybe copy the seed here so we don't lose it. We set also the steps to 30. The CFG I have chosen to 3.5. The sampler name was, I think, the SDE one. Yeah, perfect. And also the scheduler is the simple. So I can simply move the model here and the conditioning to positive. This one to negative. The latent image as well. We can also directly connect the variational autoencoder because then we can also directly preview or save our image. And I think we can delete the sampler here and the decoder and also this one. And I would say let's rerun it. And the first thing also with the efficient node is it's very nice. You can see how the image evolves over time. So you see really the diffusion process, the actual diffusion process, what's going on in the background. And yeah, we got pretty much the same image as before. Now we want to create something called an XY plot. But the question is, what is the XY plot? The XY plot is something that is, well, it looks basically like, I would say, an Excel table or a matrix if you want to pronounce it more mathematically. You have something like an x-axis and a y-axis with different settings on both axes. And then you change the settings. For example, you change the CFG scale, the CFG value on the x-axis. Let's say you pick up the values 3, 5, and 8, for example. And on the y-axis, you choose different sampler. Then you have like, let's say a 3x3 matrix, so 9 images in total, where you see for the different settings, the different results. And that's pretty cool because that way you can determine what kind of settings are maybe most suitable for your work. And this is what we are going to do. We are going to change the sampler and we are going to change the CFG. And there are also other settings we can play around. or maybe you can also do it by yourself, but we will focus on the CFG and the sampler naming. So I would say, let's hop back to ComfyUI and see how we do this. So now we can go back to ComfyUI and have a look at this XY plot thingy. And I would suggest that we take a look here to this point here. It's called the script part of the efficient node. We go back, I wanted to say back in time, but no, back in space. And now we take a look at what's going on here with the different input settings that we have. And the very bottom, we see the XY plot from the efficiency nodes. We simply click it here, and then we see the script parts is being connected. I think it's some greenish color tone. I would also like to add some grid spacing. We'll see this in a moment, what's happening. And then we can adjust the X and Y settings. So along the X axis, I would like to change, for example, the CFG scale. And I would say like to change it between, let's say 3, and also the last, let's put it with 9, of course, sure. And let's make 5 images along the X axis, and along the Y axis, we can see we have this clip skip, we have seeds and batch, and here the sampler scheduler. So let's take a look here. We can have a look. We can either change the sampler or the scheduler. I would like to change the sampler first. Also, maybe 5 different. I take the Euler one as one solution. Maybe let's see what else we have. This DP-MPP2M as another one. And I don't know, there are so many now already. Let's take this DDIM, for example, as well, and also UniPC. Of course, if you do some research, you will know what kind of schedulers and also samplers and schedulers are good for Stable Diffusion XL. I'm just now a little bit playing around, right? And now the last one, I don't know, let's stick with 5 times 4. So I remove the input count to 4. You will see that the sampler 5 will disappear. There we are. And of course, there are also other nodes like an efficiency loader and stuff like that. So you can also adjust the flow in this regard. But I think we can leave it as it is. The preview method we can also change to none. And I would say, let's click on run and let's see what happens. And I will take a cup of tea because this will take a few seconds to go through. Let's go. And we are back in ComfyUI and we have our final result. We have our metrics of 5 times 40 in the preview image, and we also see the scaling here. We can maybe increase it a little bit to see the scale. And there we have also the images, the corresponding one on the left-hand side. You can also store them accordingly. And now what we see here, we do not see big quality changes for the different CFG scale or even the sampler. So yeah, you just see maybe, yeah, some quality changes. If you look closely, maybe this one here, the UniPC with CFG 9 looks a little bit oversaturated. Maybe this is also a style you prefer. This almost looks a little bit too good, I would say. So I would suggest that we take another step back. We remove the sampler scheduler. We simply change it to the scheduler, and we use the simple one that we already used. We use the Keras one, the exponential, let's say. We can also use the beta, and maybe let's use a 5th one this time, where we use the DDIM uniform and see if for the DP-MPP2M SDA sampler name, if whether we have some changes here for the different schedulers or not. We can also make like a sampler versus scheduler or so, but here I still change the CFG and also leave the simple scheduler. So let's see if we have big changes here, because here in this topic we have now our metrics, but the changes are very little. Let's go. So we are back again, and we have our fixed sampler name with different schedulers and different CFG values. And as you can see also in this particular case, we have only one big exception, namely the house sparrow with the red chest and also some red feathers on the head. Doesn't really look like a house sparrow, I would say. I'm not an expert though, but yeah, it doesn't count, doesn't count. However, other images have also different, let's say, effects. Like for example, here the exponential part, we see also some kind of granular thingies in the background. If this is some kind of artistic thing you would like, you can focus more on this here, especially also this DDIM has the same effect as well, while the others do not have it, especially also the larger CFG scales, they do not have it here. Now, of course, you may think, well, this is kind of a little bit useless because the differences are very, very small, but this is maybe a good case of prompt and also settings where we have kind of stable solutions, but these kind of things can be adjusted quite well for different things to see an effect. And before you leave the video, I would say, let's change some settings that really have an effect. And I would say this is an effect. We have an abstract, I just changed the prompt to some colorful abstract house sparrow because I was thinking it's a little bit too boring to have just a plain vintage filtered image. But anyway, here we have a lot of different changes, and the question is why, especially along the y-axis. It's not dark magic. What I just did is I changed it for different seeds. So basically just increasing the seed. And yeah, this has been done here with another node here, the XY input seeds plus batch, with a batch count of 5. So we have the 5 times 5 because I just left the sampler on the left-hand side. And yeah, you may think, well, this is, what the heck, this is a little bit trivial. Yeah, it is. But the thing is, that way you can really iterate through a different seed values. And for example, with the seeds, also maybe different CFG numbers, so that you can start with some kind of initial workflow, set all these XY plot thingies, and then start the run and go for a lunch break. Because when you come back, you have like maybe 300 images with different settings and different seeds, and then you can choose the right one. The good thing is, if you save all the images, the flow is of course stored, and then you just need to fix the seed and you can continue working with that. So I hope you learned something today with the XY plot feature, and I would say until next time, thanks for watching. Hey everybody, thanks for watching the video, and I just want to say that we are MuseMachine. And what is MuseMachine? Well, we are a small self-funded company for consulting, workshops, and also to create our own creative suite based on generative AI, focusing only on creatives for, like, say, for example, architects, marketing agencies, or product designers. So some people were asking, what is MuseMachine? Well, it's our small company. And in the meantime, we will also share our knowledge on YouTube to give you an idea what ComfyUI can do, and also other creative suites, with a special focus on local secure execution, because we think that with the right hardware and the right knowledge, you can do a lot of magic without any vendor lock. See you next time.